Autumn 2021. A group of concerned residents organise Hertford and Our Changing Climate, a one-day event to encourage local action. 8 stalls spread across town centre locations, a children's activities area and art exhibition, and a programme of talks.
Kind of thing. So what we're going to do...
Your language fit for purpose.
Domestic battery storage.
Oh yay, oh yay, oh yay!
With a little help from the town crier,
It's going to be a peaceful opportunity to share information of a practical kind about climate change.
it's strictly a non-party political initiative.
Hertford people have come together to do this for Hertford people.
Electric cars,
We get something like 200 miles on a tank full, cost us about £4.
e-bikes,
I've had 4 electric bikes. This is my 5th, and I think it's wonderful. Absolutely fantastic.
and bike with trailer,
I've come with my trailer to illustrate how fantastic and easy to use these things can be.
advice on low-carbon homes, gardens,
We're all about how to garden more sustainably.
food,
All this stuff was picked yesterday in the community garden.
and finally, greening your finances.
Well, where you put your money is more effective in fighting climate change than anything like giving up meat or flying less, because so many institutions fund fossil fuels with your money, so you can make the decision for them to stop doing that.
People are becoming more concerned about climate issues. They get worried, they're anxious, it's affecting their mental health. So the event offers ways to replace anxiety with positive action.
We've tried a different approach in engaging people with climate change. What we need to aim for really is meaningful conversations where we can get to know each other better and really understand each other. But actually where we need to start is with them. What do they think about it? And really importantly, how do they feel about it?
Why have you two brought your children here today?
Well, because it's interesting for us, it's interesting for me, and to learn and to see what as adults we can do to help our children, and with the responsibility and the power and the agency that we have. But also, they are the reason that we need to learn these things. They are the ones that are going to be impacted and whose lives we can't even begin to understand the challenges they're going to face.
Going to an event like this and seeing other families and seeing other people with children, so you know that it's not just your Green Party councillor who cares about this, but actually it's the person who works in the shop down the road who's come with their children, and you kind of see it as a community movement rather than just seeing the odd person involved. So we've discovered that today.
Talks, information and advice to take that positive action, and with confidence.
So basically we get big companies to sign up to commit to using 100% renewable electricity by a certain date. So we like to say 2030, but they set their own targets. And because we've got 330 at the moment companies as part of our campaign, and their energy consumption combined is bigger than the energy consumption of the UK. So we have like a G7 countries energy consumption that we can go to these governments and we can say, if you don't change this, this is the business that you'll lose. So they have to listen.
You've heard of heat pumps, I expect. You've got one in your kitchen already, and you probably even 2 or 3, I don't know. But every fridge is a heat pump. What does it do? It takes the heat out from inside and puts it warmth out. As long as you've got a house that's well insulated, do the insulation before you think of this. And the good news is that the government will love you for getting one of these. Quick figures. We paid £12,000, ouch, having our heat pump installed. Oh God, no, please. Wait. If we were doing that today, which is you're thinking of, straight away the government gives you 5,000. That knocks it down a bit. And then over 7 years, they pay you a little chunk of money every quarter. Roughly, well, I'll just say it adds up to 9,000 out of the 12 that we've spent. So, repeat, the government loves you for putting in heat pumps if your house is well insulated, if it's ready to go on this stage of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I've given you. They are magical things. I love them.
A guy, Roger Tyers, so he's a researcher for a university, and he was doing a project about people's reactions to climate change, and he decided that to get to China, of course, the easiest and cheapest way would be to fly, and that was the way that his university expected him to travel, but he said, I would make so much more of an impact if I got there without flying. Also, he took, for the return journey, he could take that 2 weeks and use it to write up his notes, and it would, it wouldn't be wasted time, it would be useful time and work time. So that's what he decided to do. And so, travel part aside, back to kind of the social change side, when someone is as convinced about their actions as that, and to demonstrate with their actions that they believe that climate change is enough of a problem to actually bother to go to China by train, that's when you really take them seriously.
I am a garden designer. My starting place today is that we should all try and be the best gardeners that we can possibly be. We can do this. Now, the best gardeners are going to be on the front line in the battle to tackle climate change. We have a law in this country that says that we have to get to net zero by 2050. Now, assuming that gardeners are law-abiding citizens, then the best gardeners will play their part in ensuring that this legal requirement is carried through.
I think that the obvious thing is, how much will it cost to service? What if I prang it, etc. Servicing costs on my car actually surprisingly low because it doesn't require servicing to maintain the warranty. As you will discover, there are relatively few moving parts on an electric car. It's basically got a motor that drives the wheels directly, so there's no clutch, there's no transmission tunnel, there's no valves, etc., etc. So essentially, I've had my car 6 years. It's been serviced twice, and the services were cheaper than my BMW services. So yeah, I don't think it's been outrageous. I did manage to prang it once when a van driver let me into a space, and I turned to thank him, and the guy who was moving stopped moving, and I ran into him. That cost me £1,000. That wasn't a happy experience, but other than that, touch wood. Yeah.
Today we have gone through the entire ecosystem essentially of the business, and all our energy, for example, that was an interesting area, is all green. Now, God knows what's going to happen in the future, but it's all green, all the gas and all the power. So when we introduced all our outside heating in May, in Harpenden, in Camp Basra with the tents to get customers in, it meant that we could sit back in the knowledge that, yes, we can always reduce the power, but at least it's green. All the waste is, and we did do a sizable study into making our own compost with closed loop systems in the restaurants. One, we didn't have the space, and two, the carbon footprint of moving all the food waste to one place with a closed loop system where you create your own compost was 10,000 times more than the person who would pick it up for me to take it to a digestion centre. So we've gone through lots of experiences in trying to work out how do you make ethical and sustainable dining a commercial reality without frightening people off and without having to wear sort of Hessian underpants and not drive anywhere. And trying to get normal people, not maybe you, but people who probably don't worry about this sort of stuff. I mean, you are normal, but people who probably don't care about this sort of stuff to say, you know what, by default, we'll get you to come to us because we're charming, staff are charming, and it's not expensive, and it's a lovely place to eat.
With the COP26 conference looming on the horizon, the climate crisis is finally gaining media attention.
So I have just one thing left to say. I want to, on behalf of everybody, thank everybody, all the people that have made this day possible, all the volunteers that got it together in the first place, all the people who've been manning the stores, all the people who've come to speak. We've had some marvellous speeches today, talks I should say, and we've actually had such a great audience. It's been so well attended. Thank you everyone for a fantastic day.